Fuck.
God damn it.
Cut that out.
Oh god.
Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to At the Movies with William Fletcher. As per usual, I'm your host, William Fletcher, and this week I'm joined by Matt,
Yo.
Kitty, Jack, who
Found me on the street. I don't know how I ended up here.
yeah, that's precisely what happened. So this episode is going to be a little different than usual. Instead of talking about a movie or something, we're going to talk about... we are going to talk about a few movies, but there were ones that we saw when we went to we did a film course last year, and this episode is just sort of talking about those films, and I guess as well, if we want, like, what we did in our film course last year. So does anybody have any things they want to start talking about first, or should I just start with something?
Sticky Keys was snubbed. That's all I have to say.
Okay, okay. Which of the ones from our line do we think was the best? Not the grads films, just our ones.
Oh yeah.
Do you mean just in our class?
Our class and the other class.
Yeah.
I genuinely think Sticky Keys.
Is there not a bit of bias though, considering that was your idea and you made that?
I guess, but we all worked on Sticky Keys, right? So
Yeah,
Yes.
This doesn't work as well because there's no one who worked on the other film part of this.
Yeah,
film.
Okay. Personally, I think. Oh, see, I can't remember the names of them.
Okay, let's
I
go
can't
through
remember them. Period. You know.
Yeah, so Scripture.
You can't remember
was,
much though, can you?
Scripture was
Yeah.
the witchy one.
Yeah, that was the weird
Ah,
Yeah.
See, I thought that one was the best shot.
Hmm.
And
it was a
had,
good
the
shot,
best,
but I found it really strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Okay,
I thought
so
it had the
Scripture-
best set designs and that kind of thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
set design, I agree.
Very-
Like
But,
costume and everything.
I feel like that one, it was I feel like with all of them it was kind of hard just because so many restrictions.
Yeah.
Mm.
They
We're
probably could've
talking
done a
about
bit
all of
better,
this
but-
with not with very little context. So I guess
Yeah, true.
we should start with
This-
Sticky Keys because that's the one we did. And then I guess we
This
could touch on
episode
the
is
other
more
ones
for,
as well.
QSFT students.
So I
Yeah.
guess we give the director her
Yeah.
honor of describing what
Yeah.
that film was.
Yeah.
Sticky Keys. Everyone listening will probably have an idea, because I don't. Anyway, Sticky Keys.
Yeah,
Dale.
good save.
Dale, small town guy, living his life. He's hopelessly in love with his coworker Amy, who does not love him back.
Played by
Wow.
Matt.
Yeah.
One day, he's getting frustrated because the love of his life is talking to some other guy, and he's slamming his hands into the keyboard, and he activates Sticky Keys, but oh my god, his hand gets stuck to the keyboard. And that's the basic premise of the film.
So where did
Description's
you?
as bad as the acting. Anyway,
So I guess I guess how did you come up with the idea for this? Just
I
what
think you were
inspired you, I
there.
guess.
We were in a class trying to think of film ideas, and shout out to Lachlan Smith. Had a laptop, and somehow Sticky Keys got activated, and I was like, that could be a film, and it just snowballed from that.
Right.
Matt, weren't you part of the thinking for this? Wasn't I the only one in this call right now that wasn't actually part of thinking of this idea?
Well, Jack, if I was, I don't remember it.
You don't remember a lot though, do you?
I might have been, I might not have been.
Um,
I could not be one to say.
So I guess should we talk about? I guess is there anything you guys want to talk about in particular? Or do you want me to sort of take the lead on what we talk about?
As in about Sticky Keys?
Yeah, sort of
Or just...
I guess sort of the production side and what we did and how terribly the shoot went at certain points. It It
I was okay. It was alright.
Yeah,
Right.
no, okay. Well, I mean, I had a pretty. I'm happy to go from here. I had a pretty solid experience with it,
Mm.
mainly because I did all my work the day before and got to sit around.
Yeah.
But I also got my exercise in, got to run to the shops to get a battery, because oh my, those batteries are, ooh, they're
Yeah.
bad. They don't work. Like how far we were? What, we were like a solid like hour ahead of schedule, and that entire
Yeah.
hour got consumed
that.
because a battery died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember because we went in the day before because we shot it on a Saturday, right? And I
Yeah.
remember we went
Yes.
in on a Friday after school, and just to get
yeah, do all the
everything
stat
set up.
tracing.
And
Mhm.
we really didn't do that much. We could have done so much more like on Friday that we just didn't do because we just didn't. We just like what
'Cause
was
we didn't
done.
think about it.
Yeah,
Well,
like
I did everything I had to. It was
Yeah.
just like I checked if cameras
yeah.
were working, and we ended up using my own because the one they provided was pure shit.
Didn't we? No, didn't they provide us a couple? Didn't we get 2 cameras or something?
Yeah,
I
but
think so.
like,
Did we?
one
I
of
thought we only got
one of the
one.
rigs stopped working, and then one of the batteries stopped working, and then another battery stopped working, and like it just kind of like devolved off of there.
Yeah. So
I thought it was
I-
one camera, multiple batteries, and then all the batteries were just
no,
shit.
I think it
Yeah, all the
was.
You remember you hung up the batteries like it was the battery gallows, and like half of them didn't
Oh,
charge
yeah.
like that.
Well,
And like nobody on the day, nobody said anything, and then like there was at least like 3 or 4 people just deep down, just like maybe it's because Matt hung them up, like they were like they were a pirate back in medieval times or something. Maybe that could have done it. But
Yeah.
everyone
So,
was just like,
well, it's a good thing I brought my own camera then.
Yeah.
That
So
made up for it, I guess.
yeah. So we all. Well, before that, we'd spent a couple. How long did we spend like on pre-production, like trying to figure out like sets and like costumes and actors and like how much time did we spend before that? We must have spent about a month or so.
Yeah,
It-
we shot like pretty early on though. Like the other group
Mm.
when we
didn't
had
do
the
that shoot till like a
first
whole
the
month
first.
after.
Yeah, I
us.
think we're like the first group or
yeah, we were
so.
the first group,
Yeah.
and then
'Cause
we
I
just
think
and then,
Class did it, I think, the day after. Or
and
like
then
the
the
weekend
lessons after we just made fun of them for having not shot yet.
The
Oh,
audition
God.
process.
They
was
had
actually
some-
pretty rocky.
I mean, the other group
I was
had their
there for that.
own problems with the film.
Yeah.
Didn't they?
Yeah.
Like
They-
when they thought they lost all of their footage, maybe they show up just like, oh yeah, no, wait, who has the SD card? Just out of nowhere.
And I remember because they posted stuff on on the group chat about it, and they were just like
Yeah.
sitting around doing nothing, and so we were just like,
Oh.
"Why are you guys doing this when you could have been like, you know, getting all that footage transferred to everyone so everyone has it ready?" It was just like
Yeah, it
I
was
think we were
cool.
more prepared than they were,
To
but
be fair, I didn't have the footage till like the first day of editing, but I think like yeah, with a group of teenagers, you know, there's only so much organization that
That
can
can
be done,
happen.
and I think
Yeah.
we did pretty well.
yeah.
I think every group did pretty well, all things considered.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, there's
COVID,
always room for improvement, but
Yeah.
COVID precautions, first time ever doing it. I mean,
Yeah.
for most people, I assume.
Yeah. So so the day
Well-
before we shot, so we
Well, do you
built
have
the.
access to do you have access to the films, like each of the names, so we can like dot points to remember them?
I can remember them
I remember,
actually.
okay.
I can
No,
remember
I
the
can remember
class
them.
ones.
I can remember them too, but just not in
Yeah.
great detail.
I
can't remember
remember.
the names.
I remember the films. I forgot what
They're
half
pretty
of the.
short.
I remember what most of them were called. I think. I remember all the high school ones that we saw.
Yeah, we're just.
Yeah.
in
I
high
don't
school,
remember.
that's all.
I don't remember the weird Russian one. I can remember what happened. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, that's the one I can't remember.
yeah. So scripture, the witchy one,
Hmm.
then sticky keys, then there was unveiled, which is the bullying one,
and
and
then.
then there was the Russian.
Hayden's credits.
I
I
quite
can't.
enjoyed them. It's quite
they was.
good.
They should have really.
I'm
It would have.
sorry,
been.
He got snubbed. I'm so mad. That's not the one they.
I
played.
know.
Yeah.
I was
It's-
really hoping that's the one they would show, because it's.
I would have been out of there.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm sure we'll get to that later. So we started at 9 to shoot, right? That's when we got there. Yeah.
Well, I started at 8, but
Why were
yeah,
why were we
like, the
there at
actual
8?
shoot
Jesus.
started at 9. Yeah.
I got there and was so ready to fall asleep already.
Yeah.
Uh,
I remember.
Even with like my school sleeping pattern, I just could not.
I
It was like-
distinctly remember when because I had to catch the train there, and Matt, no, not Matt, Jack, you were on there, and Maya was also on there, and we were in each of us was in like a different car of the train. So like I was in the middle, and then you were on.
You remember that, bro?
Yeah, because I just remember you just looked just like I don't remember like what's the word I'm trying to look for. You just looked.
I probably looked like I was in a catatonic state, to be honest. I'm sorry. Oh god, so glad I don't have to go to school anymore. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
Jackson,
yeah, what are you doing
our lead
now?
actor, actually like got there before all of you guys. But anyway, yeah, what are you doing now? This is irrelevant.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing still. I'm job hunting is hard with COVID, so I'm working
yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
So
I'm
yeah,
sure
but
it
other
is.
than that, I don't really
You gonna,
have
like-
anything.
Are you gonna like pursue a film kind of?
I don't know what I want to do. You got on. So me doing the whole QSFD course was a bit of a last ditch effort for me to find something I actually wanted to do, because I really had no clue.
oh yeah.
I'm very lucky I got in.
Yeah.
And had a great time, and it went very well.
Yeah.
But
Do we
I'm still
wanna-
unsure.
Yeah. Do we want to talk about our time at the school and like stuff that happened, or do we just want to talk about the films that we saw?
We can talk
Okay,
about
you-
QSFT, I reckon.
Yeah, we can kind of like
So
probably do like a chronological through what happened
yeah,
all the way to the films. I don't know.
So-
How much time do you want this to be?
I don't know. Like I
Two-parter.
Two-parter? Hell yeah.
I distinctly remember. So I forgot the day that we started. It was like February. It was like about like a year ago, nearly to the day
Yeah.
that we're recording this.
Jesus
Oh, that's
Christ.
crazy.
I think it was
Uh,
about a year. It's like very early in February,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
So I remember I got that. So I left because we started earlier that day, didn't we? We started like 3:15
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
Instead of the usual 3:45 start time.
I was nearly late because and I'll never do this again. I actually got off at the wrong station. I missed the station I was supposed to get off, and I was just like, oh, for Christ's sake.
Which
Like,
station did you get off at?
I got at the one after,
Oh,
because
Oh, yeah.
so
Oh, no.
up until then I'd never gotten the train past like South Bank,
oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
so I got off the station after, just like
Yeah,
absolutely seething. It was pretty
Great
fun
start.
afterwards.
yeah.
It
was
was a great
Yeah.
start.
So I think I was one of the first people there, and I'm just trying to think like, because it was so long ago. I'm trying to remember like what were my first impressions of like certain people when I got there, because I was just trying to think, because I remember, because Rowan was there.
I can think of my first impressions of most of them because most of them stayed pretty consistent through the entire year. to
Yeah,
be
Yeah.
I
honest.
just remember Jack and Brad were like targets. They were just the ones that we unleashed all of
No,
our.
no,
all
I was
the
the
other
no, no,
ones.
no. I was the targeter.
Yeah, it
Oh,
was
yeah.
like Brad and
Soon as-
Rowan were like the two main ones there.
Brad and Rowan with the no, because so we had like our little introduction thing. And everybody was sat around the chairs, ready to tell everybody a bit about
Oh my
themselves.
Yeah.
god.
And they
It's,
had everyone was like, oh yeah, what's your favorite film? And it was I was sat next to Rowan, and I think Callum.
Yeah,
I don't know which one of them it was, but one of them said that Revenge of the Sith is their favorite film, and I threw up in disgust. So
I distinctly remember you
Which-
pushed your chair back to get as far away from him
yeah,
as you
yeah,
could.
yeah. I started a class war because
Oh yeah.
You immediately, like not even
I
30
didn't
minutes
care.
in, an argument.
I
erupted.
villainized myself, and I was so ready for it
Yeah,
because they tried to convince me that the prequels were good movies, and I was not having it.
no.
20%
can't.
of that course was just the guys arguing about Star Wars, to be honest.
It really was though.
To be
Does
fair,
that
really-
Revenge of the Sith, I thought that was alright though.
Yeah,
do you
yeah,
want,
yeah,
mate?
but then they like,
Tried justifying
went
the
on-
quality of
then-
the prequels overall.
yeah, but then they justified like episode one. That's just you can't.
You
Anyway,
can't. No, you can't justify it. Those films are.
this'll tangent into that
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
Like,
And we just
I'm pretty
had.
sure I said Baby Driver is my favorite film, but other than that, like,
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Did you even say you had? I don't remember.
Pretty sure I did.
I think some
I
people
think-
had like answers, and other people were just like, I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I remember I had an answer.
Kitty gave a bunch of artsy answers, and no, I just looked at her. She's like, "That is an alt girl." Sat over there. You could just instantly tell. So
Callum told me that he thought I was a lesbian.
Like,
that makes way too much.
why?
Oh,
Oh god. Yeah.
oh dear.
So
No, it was.
and
I
so
don't
we
know,
got into heated discussion. The thing is, throughout that entire course, we rarely talked about movies. Like we genuinely, the discussion was never
Talk about
on
movies.
of movies we had seen or anything. It was just on. Hey, Jack, you had so many stories to tell about what was going on.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I did
well,
like those.
That's because I come out of just the valley of death. Of course, I have stories. There was never not something happening.
Yeah.
It was... I mean, you still go there, so you would know.
Yeah.
It is-
It's terrible. It's
I'll
really.
tell you what though, Matt was holding out on us. He could have matched me, but he just sat there. Looking
Oh,
like
Matt had some
the
really.
innocent little private school kid he was trying to portray, and then just one day, the mask just came flying off.
Yeah, I was really shy for like the longest time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I have a memory of you being like the one, like just the most like normal one in sort of the sense that like you're the
Yeah,
most
he was.
yeah, you just had that aura, I guess, and then you just were like nope, and you just
Matt was the normal one. Maya was the quiet one. Callum was like the flimsy, like out front of car shop kind of like punching bag. Brad was Brad was clearly a chess kid. Like everyone kind of like you could kind of just like everyone was pretty like hard on sleeve. You could kind of tell, but
Yeah.
like and then
Yeah.
Matt's just sat there just like hi guys, like giving nothing, and then one day just like by the way I tased someone like just out of left field. Like it
I
just
don't-
didn't go well.
Why'd you have to portray me as homosexual when you reenacted me?
You said nothing. You didn't talk for like 10 weeks, and then just one day you're just like,
no. A thing that also helped solidify this was Rowan started a group chat, and the first thing Matt sent was
oh,
like
no.
this. I'm not gonna describe it, but I think you guys probably remember what it was.
I don't even know what it is.
I think
Oh.
it was the Mandingo one.
It's something funny.
It was
I think
that.
It was out of line. Though.
It was that weird Thanos one you sent, I think.
Oh.
Is that where it's like Thanos' dick
Can I be
out?
completely honest with you guys? I have that group chat muted, and I've had it muted ever since it was started. Genuinely.
First time I joined that chat, like this is going on mute.
Yeah, this is being sent to the Shadow Realm where it belongs. I will check on you every now and then, maybe if you're lucky. Because it was just, oh, it's a cesspit.
Oh no,
It
Actual
really
cesspit.
is.
it was. Yeah, no, it still is. It's just mental. It's just
Anyway,
so.
so what was everybody else's first impressions of everyone? I'm actually kind of curious to be fair.
I thought Rowan seemed like a bit of a dick. Like he just had that look of like
It's the hair. It's the hair.
it was absolute. No, it legitimately was. I was like, oh, this guy's gonna be a bit of a dick, isn't he? And then he just turned out to be an absolute moron, and I was just
Actually
like,
watches
Fucking
this.
rat.
I'm gonna make sure he watches this.
yeah. No, but I think like he just had that appearance, I guess, and like yeah, that's just sort of what my
Prequels.
initial impression was. And then we
Yeah.
and then we got paired up together, and he was just like because I remember the first class we'd had was like
practical.
it was like camera
program.
stuff, wasn't it? It was like setting up like a tripod and how to.
Yeah.
And I remember I was paired up with Jack and Rowan, and we were. There's this thing we kept on saying. I don't remember what it was. It's like authentic. It's like say authentic or something. As we were like trying to reset it for each person.
Everyone else was just kind of like doing it to themselves, and we're just in the corner just saying authentic over and over again. It was going so. And you know, one of the worst part is that we were doing it faster than everyone else. we we were setting a breakneck pace while just absolutely not
Yeah.
knowing what we were doing.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
Yeah,
But
I don't even know who else was paired up there. I just remember that because I just remember that as like who I was put with was Jack and Rowan.
I was with Maya and another girl whose name I don't remember because she left the course.
Wait, what?
Oh, really? Yeah.
There was a
wait.
girl. Yeah. Do you
This-
guys remember?
No,
There
I
was another
don't.
girl?
no.
Because I thought everyone
Yeah.
stayed.
No.
God.
There was another girl. She went to like some like private girls' school. I think she was.
Oh, didn't she
uh,
just shift courses? Went to the other class or something?
No, she left completely.
Oh.
I think she was like Chinese and she had like a cute little bob. And I saw her like a couple times, like around Annalie, like before classes and stuff. And she always avoided me like the plague. Like I would try and go and talk to her, and she would just like walk the opposite direction. And I'd hear her like
Probably
talking to
just
herself
melt.
sometimes. Yeah, she's probably just like I don't know, maybe she was a ghost and only I saw her, and she actually was never in the course. But
do
I
feel like-
swear, yeah, there was another girl.
I would, yeah.
She left.
I usually remember people, but I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'll ask Maya. She probably remembers that bit. Yeah. We were
the
trying to set
ghost
up the
of
tripod,
Madonna.
but we're all like trying to be like really polite because we're all like just meeting each other for the first time, so we like weren't really helping each other. Like one person would try and like set up all three legs at the same time.
Oh
and
no,
it was just
yeah.
See, that's
going
where that's where
very
you go
poorly.
wrong. If you're just straight to the point, like you're wrong, I'm right. That's how you make friends.
That's like
I don't think that's correct.
It clearly worked
that's
for me.
it very obviously worked for Jack. That's literally his introduction. Just like I just remember you were like over the course of that, you were just continuously getting more and more just annoyed because Ron was just being difficult, and I just
Not even. I was just. See, the thing is, right, is that I hated school, and as
Yeah.
much as that was like a
Yeah, but-
safe, almost a safe space, like
mm,
it was still like I'd be coming off of like just stress on stress, and then just
Mm.
going there and just being like my relax time, and then
yeah.
I'd have Rowan like just absolutely doing what he does best. If that's how you can even describe. Anyway,
Yeah.
not.
So Matt, do you remember who you were paired with? I mean, you probably don't,
Oh
but
God, no.
yeah,
I've got a feeling that he was paired with Gabriel.
yeah.
I feel like that was kind of like the pairing constantly because neither of you talked. And then just like one
Oh
day,
yeah, Gabe.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember anybody from the course? Like actually?
Besides you guys, like, kinda.
Kinda.
Well, I do.
Yeah.
I remember Gabe because he was quiet and he had no social media. That's why I don't.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was
made
that was
made
diff-
the coordination so difficult.
Yeah, he like didn't have like an Android or Apple phone, so he couldn't even like join a group chat. It was
It was
was
so
rough.
it was so funny because it was almost like there was like two different like kind of like subclasses. There was the
Yeah.
sheltered kids and the not sheltered kids, and it was just like it just depended on which one of those you was. There was a
who were
lot
the
of
sheltered kids?
like the Rowans and Brads and
Oh,
Gabs
yeah.
and Callums.
yeah.
I think I kind of shifted between the two depending what mood I was in.
No,
Mm.
you were sheltered all the way up until you started talking to people.
And then
kind of
Yeah,
just
you let a demon out.
Matt, you got to a point of you like brought another person into our class, and just hit him in the
I hate
corner of the room.
Oh, I hated that so much. I was just like sat there, just like, why is he doing this? Why is he doing this? Why is he doing this? Just
Oh
like,
yeah.
I genuinely
If
think
he
if
was
you would
honest
ask,
about it, it probably would have been fine.
yeah,
But
legitimately, if
it's
you would
like,
have
no,
asked,
he's just from the other class. Like, obviously they're gonna know that he's not.
smuggled him in. Matt,
And he kept on saying his name was Brad.
Matt disposed into human trafficking for a bit.
God.
yeah,
Oh, I got in so much trouble for that little scheme.
You really did.
oh god, they were not happy.
They were not fucking happy.
That was
at all.
that was in like the computer room lessons though.
Yeah,
The
we were in the
practical lessons were definitely the best part, I reckon. Like that was when I was having the most fun.
oh,
like,
when we were in the
I
computer room.
literally
Oh
just-
yeah, that was like the best. It was just
No, for the practicals.
Oh, the
they were
practical-
just
oh, yeah, the
so-
practical stuff was
so much
just-
fun.
I remember. I guess I'm not gonna go week by week because that's just way too long. But I remember the second week we got there and nobody had remembered like anybody's names, and I remember they were going through the roll and everyone was just sort of like thinking like, okay, gotta remember that name, and they were just going through, and I swear someone was whispering, okay, gotta remember that name, gotta remember that name. I think it was like Rowan or Brad or something was saying something to that effect of like trying to like make themselves remember that name because we had remembered nobody's names. But
Pretty easy time remembering names
Yeah.
because Rowan, my brother's name's Rowan, so that was pretty easy.
yeah,
And then Brad made himself too out there to be forgotten.
Yeah.
Everyone knows Brad's name.
yeah,
The only person that like even like weeks upon weeks in, I could not like for the life of me remember the name of was Hayden. He just somehow his like whatever he was named would just sink into the back of my brain.
I don't
Oh, I
think
knew
heard
his
him say
name
a full
because we went to
sentence,
primary
like,
school
until the
together,
last
but that
week.
was the only reason as to how, honestly.
You guys remember Robert Cole?
yeah.
Really tall.
Maybe.
He went to my primary school, and yet I like didn't talk to him the entire class. Robert, if you're listening, how's it going?
Yeah. And so I guess for the next few weeks we just sort of did not the same stuff. It was just sort of, but it sort of centered around the same thing. And I remember we all tried getting into the groups we were in before, just because we didn't. Well, I just didn't want to have to meet new people. I just couldn't be bothered to. And then they just sort of split us up, and I was like, oh, well, there's new people. And I think I was with
Social is evil.
Yeah. And I think I was put with Matt or something in the second week. I think so. Maybe. I
Yeah.
have no memory. Because we did, we did some more camera stuff for the few weeks. And then I remember... Yeah, how long did we do practical stuff? Was that for the entire first term, or did we do other stuff during that?
Yeah, I think it was like first time practical.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
And I remember we had towards the end, like the final week or something, people who like didn't do assessment or whatever, or like had to redo stuff, had to go in and do stuff. I remember.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, I
had to do
had
that.
to do that.
I think I was one of the people that had to do that. um,
Kitty, I didn't do anything wrong.
and then
Cry.
I do remember actually towards the end of first term, we had people because the whole like COVID thing happened, and people because we all had to stay at school. No, not school, at home because like school had closed and everything. And I remember that people could either go into like the classroom for the course or stay home and do it. And I think
Being
I
able to
remember
go in was so great because like I just like no one could even socialize, and there's just one little beacon of just like, hey, you can go here. This is fine.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh,
because
well, alright then.
I think all four of us did the in-person classes. I know I did.
Oh, I
think
think I
Matt
went to
did.
one of them,
Yeah, Matt went to like one.
and then the rest I just stayed home.
And then we did because I remember we were talking about like the other people who did like the online courses, and they were talking about like a YouTube channel or something, and I remember
Oh yeah.
they were like, oh, like no, they said someone in the other class has one, and then we all knew that it was Brad,
Oh,
and I just we.
and this is where it all began.
Yeah. No, but didn't earlier?
I thought like
Shout out to Brad
YouTube.
Action
I thought a
42
teacher
on
had a
YouTube.
channel that we were obsessed with them
He
for
does.
a while.
Yeah, Hayden.
Yeah,
The instructor.
and
He has a
yeah,
whole like company with his sister. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
They do, like wedding videos. And stuff.
and I remember, I think we at times we gave Brad a bit of a hard time, honestly, but to
I
be
feel like
fair,
he kind of deserved
he
it.
he was asking for it at times, like
Son of a dude.
I like Brad's great, but it was
Yeah.
just he just had wasn't he creating like a whole like he had like
Brad was a
sketchbooks.
Bradlandia.
I
some shit.
remember.
Yeah.
I remember. I missed one lesson. Came back the next week, and the first thing I hear is Brad's creating a Lord of the Rings world. I just like I want to stay
Oh,
home
you
again.
gave it to him then.
Oh
No,
yeah,
no,
no. I distinctly remember. Yeah, because I remember you weren't there, and I said to Rowan, "Brad is lucky that Jack's not here, because Jack would have so many things to say about this."
I mean, sure.
And then you did. The following week, you had plenty of things to say. But I sort of feel that throughout the entire course, we all kind of, gave like Jack. You just gave everyone shit. Like you just
Nobody was safe.
no.
That's the best mentality. If you're, it's the perfect form of equality.
It's
Yeah.
a mentality.
Yeah. And I remember, we were watching, because I forgot when it was, but at some point we were watching these like short films that they were showing us, and I forgot what the context was, but there was one about like horses, and Callum was like really weirdly into it. Like he was, he was just being very weird, and I didn't understand why, and so I just flat out asked him, "Do you want to fuck horses?" Because because in my defense,
Casual thing, which everyone
Everybody's been asked
everyone has
this
to
once in their
ask at
life.
some point.
no, he
The
just
only
had
one of, I know what you're talking about. The only one of those films that I remember, like off by heart, was the one with the kid in the wheelchair, because we spent at least 2 lessons after that making jokes about ramping that kid into the ocean. That was.
I
that
don't
was-
even remember anything else about that film. I just remember he just puts that kid in a wheelchair on a ramp.
We were sat up the back of that dark classroom, just trying not to pop, because like we said, like imagine if it's just like a ramp and he just lets go.
Yeah. This is very weird without context. So I'm gonna try and remember. So there was this, if I remember correctly.
I can remember. It was like
Yeah.
it was a film where it's a broken family. And it's implied that like there was a car crash in which one of them got paralyzed, and then like the one who's paralyzed hates the other one now.
Yeah.
And then like it's like this whole inspirational thing about they're friends again because he made a ramp to the ocean so they could go swimming or something. It was like honestly it was a good film,
Yeah.
but
The ramp
unfortunately, it
thing was just.
overshadowed by the fact that
Like-
we made a joke about him getting rammed into the ocean.
Because that was
Call me.
literally that's all that was going through my mind. I was like, oh, he's gonna kill him. He's gonna just eat.
You insult me at the dinner table again. I send you into the ocean. Like,
What a fucking power move that was.
honestly though, half of like, it was so hard to like take like. I loved the course and I loved all the content, but it was so hard to take it seriously half the time.
I think that's
because,
just
like,
us.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
okay.
was like our class was just like
Oh.
the worst assembly.
Oh, by the
Like they somehow took all of like the chaos that could have been spread across 2 classes and kind of just like was like this will be fine.
but to be fair, the other class seemed rather boring. Let's be honest. Like,
The other class did seem very
Like,
toned down.
at
in
least
comparison
we,
to us.
we're interesting. They just kind of seemed like you know, just like boring teenagers, you know, and it's like that's
actually did the subject.
What was
Yeah.
the most surprising? What was like the most surprising thing that happened? Like the entire course. Like what was like the thing that was just like just caught you the most off guard?
for us.
I feel like just Brad in general.
Um,
He astonished me sometimes with the shit
God,
he said.
Brad, that was.
I mean,
No,
he's not wrong.
I guess if I was talking just related to the course,
No, just in general,
then-
like
oh,
just like within the realms of like the people in that class.
Oh,
And
yeah.
whatnot, like what was the
okay.
thing that
Well,
just kind of was
the thing I was going to mention, I will talk about later, but because it wasn't really to do with the course, it just
Yeah,
happened.
That's what I was gonna say.
What do you say?
Gina.
Kitty is just absolutely
Lag.
the internet
Gina,
is
so the
not
day-
treating her well right
Oh.
now. It's Callum and Regina.
Oh, true.
That is true. Yeah,
That got me off guard.
yeah.
Because didn't he have a thing with Maya first?
No,
Yes.
wait, really?
Did oh my God?
Yeah.
Because I remember he had a thing with Regina's sister, didn't he? And I'm so
No,
What?
no, that is not what happened.
She's freaking grade 5.
God,
Where'd that come from? Holy shit.
I cry.
I guess there was.
I'm so,
I really
oh,
have everything just sort of mixed together, and I got confused on what
Bro,
a lot happened.
Everything that happened in that class didn't make sense between like the people in it. Like it was such just like an environment. It was like a sitcom.
Yeah.
You had like
I can see that.
the weird overconfident one, which is Brad. You had the one just making fun of everyone, which is me. You got like the
The stoner, which is
Yeah.
mad.
No. No.
the addict.
Kitty was as well.
The
Kitty's too busy stealing picture frames.
Don't out me publicly on my life of crime. Look, we needed a prop.
And it
Okay.
worked.
And it, hey, yeah.
As a director, I
Madonna
did
was
what I
never
needed
looking more
to do,
beautiful.
and I don't
Yeah.
want to be shamed.
Gotta do what you gotta do. Nah.
I
Like
remember.
overall, like the class content was cool, but it was really just the people that were like
Yeah,
the most interesting part.
yeah. I
Yeah, in a
remember
weird way though.
we had a class where we had to, like the cables for the lights, and you had to like wrap them up. And I distinctly remember
Oh.
Rowan
He was really
had
bad at that.
so much difficulties with it, and
Oh,
Jack was
I
just
hated
losing
that
it.
so much. 'Cause
Jack was
okay,
It
just
was so
losing
easy.
it
it.
was so easy, and I knew exactly how to do it. I was just doing it. I did all of them, and then like Rowan sat there, like it's like he's trying to learn how to use chopsticks, but like with no fingers. Just like sat there, just it was so.
And I remember,
Oh,
for some reason, I asked him to show me what to do, and that in turn confused me what to do, and I just was like, "What am I doing?" Because for some reason I was like, "Hey, Ron, how do I do this?"
it was like watching a fish learn to walk. It was just so so bad. He could not like he could not.
No, it was just terrible.
It was just bring it up, turn, bring it up.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
it was, and he's just like so I bring it up and I bring it up and then I turn and then I turn again and it was like
Yeah.
everyone it was like a sports game. Everyone's just sat there just like in chairs just screaming at one guy just like no, it's not how you do it every time.
Yeah.
That was
I
awful,
remember. Yeah, Rowan. Like, it was weird because half the time Rowan seemed to know what he's doing, and then other times he was just asking like the most basic questions. Like, I just remember.
It was he's a big case of the like the school smarts but zero common sense.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of friends who are very much like that,
Mm.
where it's just like they're real smart, they can do all their subjects well, but as soon as you ask them to tie their shoes and they're just like my what? Like just completely losing it.
The fuck is a shoe?
Yeah, it's basically just Matt currently. Without the school
I
smarts bit,
I
just
also
zero common sense.
think that we all sort of split into our own individual groups. Like, every time you get to class, there'd be people like
You had the quiet kids, the
Yeah.
hipsters, and chaos incarnate.
Yeah.
The hipsters? Who the fuck was the hipsters?
Kitty, Tom, Maya.
Oh,
Tell me
Yeah.
otherwise.
It's true.
Sat in the back, just pointing fingers behind their coffees, just like, look at those guys. And you
We
could.
actually talked about movies and music and shit like most of the time, while everyone else was making fun of Brad.
I do remember genuinely saying to Brad, you know, bullying's bad, but I feel like you should be bullied. And I remember copying like a ton of shit from him for it.
Jesus Christ.
I feel like there was so many things we said about Brad. Like Brad was just like an easy target.
See, I tried to
To be
stop.
fair, he kind of had a lot of them coming.
I
It's not
tried to
landing.
I tried to dish it out evenly.
Yeah. You
I
don't
didn't-
discriminate.
I don't
You don't.
like simply just like going after one person. That's boring.
Yeah. There was.
Yeah,
Especially
it
when I
can
had
be seen
so
as
many-
mean then.
Especially as I have so many prime targets to choose from.
There were a lot of targets.
I remember
actually.
there was one of those classes. I just felt really bad for Brad. Like something I don't remember what it was, but there was a
Oh, yeah,
class.
because one lesson he was like really sad,
Yeah.
and none
I
of us
forgot
really
what the-
cared.
and then the lesson after he walked around calling people nothing but bitch the entire time.
He still calls me bitch. I went to his birthday party and he calls me bitch. Disrespectful, honestly.
Fine.
No, I do remember. And there were times where Brad was, because he was going for like a captain, like school captain or something,
Oh yeah,
Pushing
there was-
pushing the
we were
limits of
listening
what
to
was
his
socially
speech.
acceptable.
and Rowan was just being a dick the entire time. Just like
Oh,
he kept.
that was awful. That was
And
awful.
and I actually got really pissed at Rowan. I just like.
He was. Everyone else was sat there very intently listening, and then Rowan's just sat there just.
And I remember I just like slammed the table because I was just so, and I just was just so annoyed because I was like, "It's stop." He's like, Ron really just annoyed me at times. He just
Well, he
Yeah.
was the second target.
yeah.
Least favorite
opposed to the-
person
as
from
a-
the
as-
course. Go.
Oh, that's such an evil thing to say.
Why?
It is an evil thing to say.
This is just shade the podcast now. He's,
Yeah.
Will's gonna have to do some serious editing.
I
Like,
retract
that's-
my question.
No,
don't
because you
just
want
talk
to. You
about the
want to.
least
No,
favorite
because
person,
you want to
that's really
say what your
fucked up.
answer is.
I don't. I
Say it.
don't.
What's your say? The
He can edit this. Come on.
yeah. I'll just bleep it. You will never.
No. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
No, guys, it doesn't count. It still doesn't take away the fact of it. I will never say my least favorite person, Kitty.
I had it coming. Should we talk about the actual films, maybe?
Oh yeah.
yeah. So
U-turn.
so
U-turn.
I remember. I think it was the end of term 2 or something. We were sort of split into like groups of 3 or so, and we came up with ideas.
What? Oh yeah, you're right.
Oh no.
That
I
was
think it
when
was-
Sticky Keys was born.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I hated that so much.
yeah. So we did that. So we
I think
saw.
it was me, Will. Was it Gabe with us?
No, I think we
No,
were with
no.
Kitty.
No,
I think.
I was with Gabe.
Was
Oh,
it just you and
okay.
Gabe, or was it someone else?
And maybe no.
Yeah, actually no, we were with Kitty. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I remember we went through the ideas, and then we had to do a pitch. I believe, didn't we? We
Oh,
all
yeah.
had to pitch our idea,
Yeah.
which was fine. I don't. Nothing extraordinary happened. It was just like basically just each group got up and explained their idea. What other ideas were there? There was the
mine
two
was-
we did.
Me and Gabe's one was like a really like El Generico no bullio.
Oh yeah, it was the one where
kinda
like
thing.
it's like
Ironic coming from you.
yeah, that was the one where it was like a kid who's like he's bullied in school and then he leaves and he comes back. as like, right?
Like,
Is
really
that the one?
buff or something?
I,
Yeah,
And-
I
yeah.
think that was it. Just really
It
fucking
was-
buff.
Yeah.
Is that just like Gabe's life
Yeah.
story?
Maybe. He's the one who came up with it. I didn't even
That's
pitch
the
anything.
vibe that I
was
got
sad.
from it.
Yeah.
And then Brad pitched.
Oh god, Brad was actually.
Brad
Brad's
pitched
pretty
Meaning
good.
of
It's just-
Life.
Yeah, he
I
was,
remember
like,
we
church
memed
thing.
it quite a bit because we just, but it was actually not too bad. It was just like not.
It wasn't too bad. I think it was just riddled with spelling mistakes and shit.
No, it wasn't even riddled with spelling.
I think it was just very difficult to make as like
so
a short
complicated.
film for
Yeah, it
you know
was-
teenagers. Like it was not
And then there was
Yeah.
then there was Unraveled,
unveiled,
Unveiled.
Unveiled.
and then there was
Sticky Keys,
Yeah.
and then there was the
I-
Swamp one
yeah,
from
Oh yeah,
Robert,
that's one.
which
That one was
was
alright.
very close to being made because that one was also pretty good.
yeah. It was just
Episode
more. Yeah, I think they didn't go with that one because the whole water, like having to film with water, is
Yeah,
like
the
very
Oh, wait,
difficult.
yeah.
abilities.
But I
Fishing
think
one.
it would have been a very good one to do if we had gone with that one.
Yeah,
It
definitely.
would have been
So-
logistically difficult though. That was
Yeah.
the only thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Sticky Keys was pretty easy because it was like one, everyone was kind of like behind it because funny. It was like the funnier one.
Yeah.
Everyone was kind of like, oh yes, let's do the comedy. That's gonna go great.
Yeah.
And then
Did
and then
you said
everyone
that like
was,
it didn't go great?
I say everything like it didn't go great.
So I remember it was put to a vote, wasn't it, which ones?
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
was so it was like all the pictures, I think, and then it was
I remember I voted Sticky Keys. I had
Yeah.
zero confidence in pretty much every other idea.
Yeah.
But,
well,
like,
I went with
Sticky
Sticky Keys
I
because
want to work on that. 'Cause
Yeah.
that looks like actual fun.
yeah, I mean went for the Sticky Keys because I was part of that group, so I felt like I had to, and yeah,
And also, you
Made
thought it
that
was an
sense.
amazing idea, right?
Yeah. I was gonna say, you may wanna.
oh
check
yeah,
that
it
statement.
was
You're
like
like
it was a great idea. Like no, genuinely though, it was actually very. I remember when we pitched it because we had two different teachers over the course. We had like one teacher at the beginning who then left us and he worked with the other class, right? Like we had two.
Yeah, Hayden taught the practical stuff, and then Graham taught the logistical stuff,
Yeah,
and they switched.
yeah. So I remember because the title changed, didn't it? I feel like it was a couple.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Keyboard
it
Man.
did.
it was Keyboard
Oh, it did,
Man
yeah.
originally, and
Sticky
then
Keys was the original title, and then it got changed to Keyboard Man pretty much by Graham because he kept misinterpreting the title.
Yeah,
No,
and then
changed it back to
and then
Sticky Keys.
and then it got changed back to Sticky Keys, and people
then it
started
keep-
calling it Sticky Keyboard Man for some reason.
Yep, Sticky Keyboard
Yeah,
Man.
he couldn't even get it right after he changed it.
It took so long.
it
He
really,
tried his best.
really did.
It was like the day of the shoot, and he was like,
Another
right,
controversial
shoot
thought
Sticky Keyboard
Is
Man?
that well, that sounds bad, doesn't it?
Controversial.
Oh no.
Is that I feel like they limited us quite a bit
Yeah.
because like we had like
Mhm.
tons of
3
ideas. Like this
pages
is
only.
like
Oh yeah, no. It was
Make
because
that,
it was
like,
it was
turn
a
it down.
very limiting because we only had like what 3 pages of script.
Mhm, 3 pages.
We
Yeah.
could only have like
Characters
2
and everything.
locations, like 3 characters or something like that. It was like very, like a very small amount we were given to work with.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
remember,
The
my
original
previous
Keyboard Man
films, I've
script
gone on
was
for like
quite
10
different.
pages.
Yeah.
Like 8 different sort of scenes.
Yeah.
So it was very odd for me to.
yeah, I genuinely
Yeah.
think that if we had had more, we could have created like a much longer. We could have done a lot more when then.
Sticky Keys is a feature at heart.
Yeah.
I think so as well because we couldn't include any of the ideas with the keyboard kid.
There was meant
yeah.
to be a whole other character. There was a female that also got Sticky Keyed. and
Wasn't
then they
that
fell in love with that.
always the
Yeah,
same
but
character though? I thought it was this.
wasn't Amy. It was like this other chick from the other side of the world or something.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah,
don't.
then they meet.
Yeah. Right.
There's a lot of very cool like shot ideas.
Yeah.
And, like sets and stuff
Yeah.
that like could have been funny. Like remember there was the
The montage scene.
Yeah, the
yeah, there was the
montage.
montage, and there
Mhm.
was also the like the convenience store one.
Oh
Where
yeah.
it was just like the
Yeah.
security camera shot of him trying to get stuff.
Yeah.
he just
Yeah.
could not-
Yeah.
I really wanted to do that one.
So
Couldn't.
yeah, so we were all split into our groups of, I think it was 8 people a group, or was it not? It was, I
I
think it was,
think they just split it
six?
clean in half.
yeah.
6, 7, something
Yeah.
like that.
So we spent pretty much every lesson until whenever we shot, just trying to figure out like everything. Like, so I remember who
There was
hired
so
the
much-
actors again. I don't actually
It
remember.
was like a combination of people, mainly me, Tom, and Sky worked
Yeah.
on that. The audition process was like really, we had one really great actor who was like a professional.
Oh,
and he
yeah.
was great, and then he was like, "Sorry, I have another project on like that weekend
Oh
that he
yeah.
was contracted to and couldn't get with." We're like, "No," and then we had to last minute get Jackson.
Yeah.
Who was
So I
Ooh.
remember I wanted to watch the auditions because I wasn't, because I think it was just Kitty and Matt, and was Tom there as well? There's like just you three
Yeah.
guys doing auditions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
Sky.
you three did auditions, and then you sort of chose the actors. And I remember, how many people did you audition again? It was like a few.
Oh, it wasn't many, was it?
It wasn't
it was
many,
like
but it was.
4 or 5 maybe.
Yeah. So I remember you interview. I don't remember all their names, but there was one guy who you interviewed who was really good, who would have been great, but you know the
Mhm.
whole. And then you had
that's
another
weird.
guy who just was terrible. I remember because he like wasn't really.
Oh
So
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
he was like
Forgot about
really
that dude.
late.
Yeah.
Terrible.
and then you had Jackson as like sort of the.
Yeah.
And then you had. Do you just have one person audition for the other 2 roles?
So the role of Steve, we had 2 auditions, but one of them was terrible, and the other guy we wanted to use for, Dale.
Oh yeah.
And one time before, I think it was like the next lesson or something, me and Maya were in Woolworths, and we see this guy at the checkout, and we're like, "That's Steve. That's got to be Steve." And so we talked to him. We're like, "Have you ever done acting before?" So we scouted Steve's actor from
Correction.
Woolies.
You thought he was hot and was like,
Well, Steve's character is meant to be hot, so
Yeah. Can you explain who Steve is for the people who don't know what we're talking about?
yeah. Steve is Dale's competition, more or less. He's like the
There you
office douche. He's who Amy, Dale's love interest, is actually going for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. I just remember that he worked at Woolworths. I have
Yeah.
a distinct memory of you guys saying that. It's like, okay. And yeah. And then you auditioned one person for Amy.
Yeah,
Right.
she just fit right away. She was pretty perfect.
Yeah. And
fucking lucky she was good for it, otherwise you would have been screwed.
True. I mean,
Yeah.
we had time because
Yeah.
that shoot was so early. So
and so that was the audition process. And
I still have the auditions. on my
Yeah.
hard drive.
so yeah. And I remember the other group, they were doing auditions in like the room next door, and
Yeah.
I could hear someone screaming, and I
Yeah,
was
screams.
very worried for a brief second, and I was like, oh, it's probably part of their script for their story, which made sense.
What else could it be? Oh god, Brad's done it again.
So yeah, then we had difficulty with location. I remember that was like the bit that took the longest for us, was trying to figure out locations and stuff.
Oh, true,
Is-
yeah.
Because I remember we wanted to see if we could use like a real office, because the whole thing takes place in an office building basically. So we were trying to go to like a real office building, and we just couldn't like get the permits and everything to shoot there.
Yeah, the
Right.
QSFT building is pretty much an office space.
Yeah,
you know,
and so there were
so-
2 places that, because there was one upstairs and then there was one downstairs, like next to the classroom.
Yeah.
There's like the other classroom, and we think we are gonna go do it upstairs. I think, but because there's a giant window in there, there would have to be like, you'd have to put like, a thing like
Yeah, there would have been like reflections
Yeah.
and like continuity errors and stuff.
and also like the people who work there, like we had to be careful of their desks and everything and not touch them or
Yeah.
anything. So, and then I do remember we built the set downstairs in like this small like. I don't even remember how big it was, but it was like not a massive space to work in.
Yeah.
So we built, which was difficult because we had the cubicle walls to put up, and it just was difficult. Well, it was kind of difficult,
Well, we
and
had
then
to build
Jack,
an entire thing from scratch.
Yeah.
Really.
and then Jack was just getting annoyed because we were just being really difficult moving.
Yeah, it took
the...
a while to actually set
Oh,
up
that
like
was
the
that
cubicle
was so
walls
hard.
and like
Yeah.
figure out
Yeah.
all the angles because there were many shots that had to be like through doorways and stuff. And it was
Yeah.
tricky, but
Yeah.
I think it turned out well. Like the original layout was completely different to how we only
yeah.
actually really figured it out the day before the shoot.
Yeah. Because, yeah, I remember there was sort of talks of what we envisioned it to look like. Because we also wanted to do it in, like, the classroom, like our usual classroom,
Yeah.
and they were like, yeah, you can't do that. That's just too much. And so we had to just... So we were just lucky that we had that space, and they had the cubicle walls to put up.
Yeah.
And so we put up 2 cubicle walls, and then we set up the desks, and just put
Yes.
various things on those desks.
Which like mostly just came from my house.
Yeah, I'm trying... So what did we have there? Where there was just, like...
I have the featured monitor right here, sat next to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. There was 2 monitors. There was a keyboard.
Keyboards, of course.
There was, I think there was like a couple potted
Stationery.
plants.
Yep.
There was Madonna.
There was Madonna,
of course.
which I guess for the people who don't know, there was a Jack's creation, I believe, right?
Yeah, I made it on Photoshop. There was a lot of it. We went through a bit of a naming process.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
really. I think we got to Hitler at one point because that's
No,
did
it
we?
it was mainly me and Matt going back and forth about
Yeah.
like what it should be named because
We went through like
Was it-
Goliath.
yeah, Goliath.
Goliath was a good one.
Because it's like a little Chihuahua rat dog.
Yeah, and the picture you chose was also the best one that we could have
Yeah.
hoped for, and
Madonna,
then
by the way, is Dale's deceased dog.
yeah.
For anyone
And you put the date on it. It's like 2016 to 2020, I think, in pink Comic Sans.
I think it was like 1949 or something. It's like
No, I think we were gonna go with
That's
that.
not really old.
No,
Let
you
me
told us
check.
not to do that because we were going to.
Yeah, we were going to, and yeah, someone said no, don't do that, and so it was like 2016 or something.
Oh, it's 2012 to 2020.
Okay,
2012.
yeah,
She's with me now.
and in pink Comic Sans, because
Yep.
and there was also the $6 sticker on it, and we were so tempted to leave that on, and
Because
just
I definitely paid that $6.
yeah, yeah.
Yep.
That frame was such a pain though to like open, to like get it all
Yeah.
out and then put the picture in, and then it was just like, yeah, and I was worried that it would break because in the film there's parts where that he knocks it over, and I was really worried that it might break, and I didn't want it to, but it survived
That could have
luckily.
been good though.
Yeah,
Could have been funnier if it
And,
had actually broken.
there was also on that set there was a picture of Tommy Wiseau. There's like a Tommy
Yeah.
Wiseau next to a quote, I think. or
Yep,
something.
an inspirational quote.
Yeah.
That's one of his.
And there was also we left a hint for Brad in there. Like Brad was here, and we left it
On a
on
post-it note.
on like a tissue box. There were other
Yeah.
post-it notes though, wasn't there? Like there was a couple other ones as well.
Yeah,
I
there were a
remember.
couple Easter eggs.
Yeah. And then we also had to move the water cooler in because that was like a pivotal thing, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
That was also really difficult.
Yeah, that was not fun to move, but I remember. And then we set up everything Friday, the day before we're shooting, and so we've got like the lights all put in, and I remember, and we got there, and it kind of, at first it was weird because we had to like get used to it, like it was because it was like because we shot all the stuff in the off. No, we didn't. We shot all the stuff with Steve because the actor had to leave. I believe. I think he
Yeah.
had to leave. So we
I think
shot.
we just wanted to get it over and done with rather than he had to go somewhere, was it?
Yeah, we just didn't
Well,
want people to be like waiting around all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we get there. So I'm getting there at about 9ish or so, and I think who was the last person to get? No, I remember. We get there, Jack, Maya, and I. We get there, and Gabe's just like chilling outside, just like wondering what to do. I remember. And then we just have to like, because like the door was open downstairs to the class,
Mm.
and so he just didn't notice or something, and so he was just like waiting outside.
Yeah, I got there at like 8 because I needed to like set up the food and everything.
Hmm.
And then the lead actor got there like 30 minutes early, which is great. He
Yeah.
was pretty good.
I will give
And
the
I also
actors.
left like an hour later than everyone.
I will give the actors that they showed up on time. Like we didn't have to wait for them. Like
Yeah,
everything was
they
sort of
committed as well.
Yeah.
on
They were
schedule.
lenient as well, like not.
Professional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
They
I
were cool with us
remember.
being a little bit stupid.
Yeah.
Just everyone was a bit cool with us being a bit of a fucking.
They,
idiot.
Yeah.
they matched the
Yeah.
energy very well.
Yeah.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
They
distinctly
weren't
remember that.
like,
Yeah.
stingy or anything like that.
Yeah. Like they were just really because. I think there's sometimes a worry with actors that they might be a bit of a pain, but our actors were just like really chill and like everything just sort of flowed along, you know. There was
Yeah.
nothing like they weren't bad or anything. They weren't like bad people or anything. It was just we just sort of, you know,
They were chill.
yeah.
The only difficulties we had were technical, which was the batteries mainly, and
Yeah.
also the thing of the microphone making the weird noise.
I remember.
part
Also,
of
That was
we
a bit
also
of a
had
fucking pain,
a black dot on a bunch of the footage.
Oh,
afterwards.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All the most of the
good stuff.
outside stuff when there's like when it's Steve when he's like no, not Steve, Dale, when he's like walking out and he's leaving the office. There was
The tracking
a-
shot, that was pretty difficult.
yeah.
to
Oh, it took us several takes
get. Mhm.
for that.
You guys are talking about that was difficult for you. I had to be holding that.
The shader.
diffuser.
Shade,
Oh
yeah.
my
Yeah,
god.
yeah.
So I guess we should also go through like which role did we play. Kitty, you were
True.
director and writer on the.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matt, you were camera,
Yeah.
and I was working with you as well on that.
Yeah, camera is actually yeah.
Assistant,
Yeah,
I think
like,
it was, but I also did a few shots as
assistant,
well because while you were setting up
Yeah.
other things, and then Jack, you
Mhm.
were
I was
lighting and
I
We're
showed
great.
up.
I'm just going through the text group chat for Sticky Keys, and there's a picture here
Sure,
of
that's a good idea.
batteries. We had to get batteries at 9:37 in the morning.
Yes, that
Oh,
was
yeah,
me. I
Jack
had
had
to.
I'm trying to remember what that was.
Yeah.
Was
I
that the
had
batteries you had to
go
get?
For a solid 400-meter run
Yeah.
down to the Woolworths to pick up batteries because. What had died? Was it the mic or was it one of the cameras?
I think it was the mic because I remember
the
we
mic. I
had
think
to
it was
try
the
and
mic as well,
shoot the
actually.
early stuff because Matt had brought his camera with a mic in it. It had like a built-on mic, like a
Yeah,
mic you could put attached on
my
the top of
mic.
it. So we had to shoot
Yeah.
like close-ups and stuff early on because the mic wasn't working because we hadn't checked all the like equipment, like because the day before we were just not. Yeah,
The thing is, right? We did check all the equipment.
Yeah.
Except for the only stuff that wasn't working was the stuff we didn't check. Everything else was pretty much fine.
Yeah.
And then just those one little bits that we were.
Did we
were
not
just
check the microphones? Did Gabe not check the microphones?
No.
I don't think Gabe was
Yay!
there.
Oh,
No, he
shit.
was.
no, he was. I think we were we not all there?
It
I
was really funny because he was there and he was walking around, swinging around the sound pole, being like, I don't know what to do. I have nothing to do. And then we get there the next day, and it's like, oh, the mic isn't working, and he's just like, oh, there's something I could have done. It's just like, oh my god.
By the end, by when we were shooting the last couple shots, Gabe was lying on the ground.
Oh yeah,
holding
he was
the
fucking
boom up.
asleep.
I got a picture of him
This is
asleep. Like
sleeping.
we're all.
Yeah, he did. He fell asleep.
Actually, to be
Under
fair, I
the
was also
table.
very tired by that point.
Yeah, but
Oh,
you
I
didn't
was-
fall
It
asleep
was a
though,
long
did
day.
you?
No, I don't think I fell asleep.
Yeah.
but
I was
almost.
so dead by
Yeah.
the end of that.
Yeah, it was an 8-hour shoot
subway
with
did
only like
nothing to
a
save
half
me.
an hour break.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was not because I thought we were gonna have a couple of days because I remember at the beginning of the course I think they said that we could have like a couple. I think when the course started, we had like more that we could have done, but
Yeah,
I
but
think the COVID
COVID like
kind of
got
restricted.
really bad over like that. Like it didn't take long for COVID to really get way worse over the time that we
Yeah,
had the course.
and so we had to really
Yeah.
reduce what we were doing and like what we could do. So I'm just trying to remember, what did we start? So we were all there. Everything started. So we were shooting in the office set that we had built.
Mhm.
And it was just like the close-ups where you didn't really need the mic, while Jack
Yeah.
ran off to Woolworths to get the batteries we needed.
Yes, B-roll.
And so we
Establishing
did some
shots.
just like establishing shots, and yeah.
Sorry, bro.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, so we did it, and then I'm trying to remember what we did. So we did all the stuff in the office. We did the whole. The keyboard hands. We should talk about that for a little bit because that was that was like
That's
the
true, that
biggest
was, like, a challenge.
challenge I remember in terms of like production design,
Yes.
was creating the keyboard hands, because we had ideas, but it was just like, how would you achieve those? Like, how would you do
Like
that? I
looking
guess.
realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like you can't
In the
glue
end, I think
someone's
we just
fingers
gave up
to
on a
a keyboard.
realistic looking part.
yeah. I think we
Yeah.
just went with black gloves in the keyboard, and you like took the
Yeah,
keys out and
so-
just glued them
It
on
worked well
top.
though in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It couldn't have gotten much better than what we had.
Yeah, no. You don't. I don't think. Also, if you watch it, you don't pay attention to it
Yeah.
because it's not
the
like.
idea is more important than
Yeah.
the actual. Yeah.
But you only had one prop built, so that I remember, because at the end, I guess this is spoilers, but who cares? Because they both get their hands stuck to the keyboard, so
Mhm.
and so one of them had the keyboard hands on, and the other was just like holding their hands on a keyboard, right?
Yeah. Well,
I don't
here's the
think
thing.
it really mattered in the end though.
Yeah, because
Keyboards
If we
are
needed a second
expensive,
one.
you know, and I'm
Yeah.
not gonna destroy 2 keyboards.
Yeah.
You know.
hmm.
And
Are they
there's-
as expensive as picture frames?
it's a lot more difficult to steal a keyboard than a picture frame.
Yeah.
But like,
True.
Trying trying to say here.
anyway, yeah, it was like, yeah. So I got like the finger placement and then like marked all the keys and popped all the keys out.
Yeah.
Hot glued like glove fingers
Mm.
where the keys went, and then put the keys back over the gloves.
And
I think it looked pretty solid.
yeah, it actually was not, but like again for like a homemade prop
Yeah.
essentially. And were you guys? I thought you guys were still working on it like the day before, or like the day of shooting. That you were still like testing it and making sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
shaking it around, making sure it didn't like
And,
fall off mid shoot.
yeah. And I remember Graham was disappointed that you hadn't made it to keyboard and
Jeez,
props.
Graham,
Oh, honestly,
I
I don't
did
think it mattered
the
that
best I
much, did it?
But to be fair, no, because
There's
I
only one small continuity error, and
Yeah.
I don't think anyone noticed it.
in my final edit that I did, you don't really see the two, like the big wide shot of the two of them. It happens. It cuts to her from like behind her. She's raising her hands, and then it pans over to Dale, and that's how it ends.
Mm.
There's no what I did anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did that, and Maya had all the costumes, right? They didn't have to. Did they have to bring their own clothes, or were costumes supplied for them? I don't remember.
Yeah.
I thought that we got them to bring their own, didn't we?
Well, we asked them to just wear like, you know, casual business wear, but Amy, the actress, didn't have any, so we went to the op shop before one of the classes and got her costume.
Yeah.
Oh, her skirt actually was from Target, and we just returned it after the shoot.
Yeah.
It's extremely low budget.
Yeah.
It worked though.
Yeah, I did work, and I remember.
Fairly sleazy, but
Yeah.
Mm.
I do remember
Oh.
that, like, because it wasn't like, because the other short films had some like very elaborate, like in Scripture in particular had very elaborate costumes required,
Yeah.
and ours was just like normal business wear, and I think like you didn't need it to be too fancy, and I think it worked, and I distinctly remember that because I remember we had talked about beforehand how to like how to do like when you know say action, or like what you say beforehand, and there were times where we were just waiting for someone. It was usually Gabe we were waiting for to say, because he was.
I think we all had our fair share. Of
Yeah, we all had.
Matt just started saying action himself at one point.
But to be fair, you weren't.
I was waiting for him to say camera ready so I could say action. He was just sitting there, not saying anything. Like, dude, are you recording? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, action.
Yeah.
Too complicated.
Yeah. So we did that. So we did the office stuff. Not all the office stuff, just like the stuff where like Steve was necessary. And there were some times during that shoot where it got where we were like very close. Like there was a bit where it's like behind Dale, and I had to put the clapper in, and I remember I was right next to Matt, and he was like, because Matt was moving around and panning to the left, and I was basically pressed up against the wall, which looking back, I probably could have just gone on the other side, and that wouldn't have been a problem. But at the time, I wasn't really thinking about that, so I was just like trying to lean back and be as like close to the wall as I could, so that Matt wouldn't get me in shot.
It was like really hot as well, like wearing the masks.
Oh,
for
it
COVID.
was yeah, and it went terrible.
Very nice work environment.
Yeah, and when we had to go outside was like terrible, because we were all out there. I think most of us were out there, so we.
Honestly, I preferred when we were outside at that point because like at least like the airflow was nice, and then I stopped preferring it when we got the diffuser and I had like my upper body strength really put to the test.
That's true. So beforehand, we had to fill out a equipment list, and I went through it with Matt, and we thought we had everything, and then it turns out we didn't, and so that didn't go well. So we had to get a diffuser because we just didn't think about it, I guess, and so then
we didn't factor in the sun.
Yeah, we really didn't think about it. I was just sort of thinking about the basic equipment we needed, and then. Because there was like a really long tracking shot that we did outside of Dale leaving the building and walking up the hill.
That was foolish of me to put that into like an entire thing.
And
really
I had to do the clapper, and then I had to basically guide Matt, like one hand on his shoulder, and I was just like looking the direction we were going.
To be fair, it did look pretty good.
Yeah, it did. Bar the black spot in like the middle of the frame.
That's
Which
not...
they tried fixing, didn't they? But they
couldn't.
They couldn't.
There was no way.
It wasn't like it was an editing error. It was like
the camera error.
Yeah.
Was that a QSFT camera?
No,
yes. Was it?
Was?
Yes.
I don't remember.
It was.
Because all the scenes where we used my camera didn't have it.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
we know whose fault it was.
Yeah.
Then.
So. Yeah.
Ours for not checking.
Brad.
Yeah, it's Brad.
So we did that, and then we got to a point where we had to bring a chair outside for Jack to stand on to hold like the diffuser above, because we were shooting on like this small staircase, which was just really cramped and just not fun.
Yeah, I was in the garden most of that shoot.
Well, yeah,
Matt
there was that.
Matt was heading out like he was David Attenborough. I was stood up on a chair, just like, just holding Simba up in front of me, just the entire time.
Well, no, because we shot it from behind in like the forest, and then we also shot it. We also shot it on the stairs behind them. So it was Matt, myself, and Kitty sitting on the stairs. Matt just like
that
leaning.
Was when Matt started saying action.
Yeah, and it was weird because I had to like lean over and just like drop it into frame while looking at the camera just to make sure it's in frame, and then doing it and then moving back. And it just was not. It just got to a point of like.
We had to cram about 7 people into a 2-person staircase.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then it also got annoying because there were lots of birds around, and so Graham was just like clapping his hands, getting rid of the birds, like just as we were about to start. Like everyone was like
screaming at the sky, trying to get the birds away. That was great.
Why have you forsaken me?
And it wasn't even like before like Matt has started recording to do like the like take or whatever.
We're like
Make sure the
mid
take
shoot,
was-
and Graham's like, "Bah, get out of here!"
It was like I'm about to read the like what take we're on, and I just hit, you know,
Wow.
and yeah, and then Tom was in it for a brief moment as a small cameo.
Most of us were in it, I think.
Oh yeah, I
In,
think
like,
we were
the
all
running
been it.
scene.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
most
was-
of us were
Jack
extras.
wasn't in it.
I went inside.
Yeah.
was
I think-
so. I was because that was right. We you guys filmed that right after we'd done the
Yeah.
diffuser, so I was ready to go back inside, get some water, and just like pass
No,
out
that
for
was
about
I think
40
towards the end. Like we
seconds.
would, I think that was like one of the last shots we did was the
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
The running, the chase.
yeah
scene
because
with
we
all
didn't
the-
because we just needed
paparazzi.
Jackson at that point to shoot because the other two
Mhm.
actors had left I think and because we didn't need
Yeah.
them anymore because they'd done all their
No,
stuff.
I thought that the girl who played Amy stayed. The other guy was Wongon though because he didn't have to be there anymore.
Yeah, and so when did we stop? Did we stop after we shot outside to do lunch? Is that what we did?
No, I think that was
Or
like
do-
the end of the day where we shot that, like all the scenes where he was like wearing a hoodie. We shot them.
No,
last,
I'm
so
talking about the
last
stuff we
week, yeah.
shot, like the big tracking shot of him like finding the reveal that Amy's just using him.
Oh right. Yeah,
That was-
right
yeah.
The
before
that
lunch.
was like the last one we shot, but that was after like because we did some stuff outside, but
Mm.
then we went back in
Yeah,
because you guys forgot to do that one.
Yeah.
yeah,
Because we went back in, so we did the stairs scene, and
Yeah.
then we went back in, and that was about when one of the cameras died.
yeah.
We had that whole debacle.
Because we were
so
an hour ahead of schedule, I think. Yeah,
we were
as
an
you
hour
said.
ahead of schedule, and we ended up about 20 minutes to half an hour behind schedule because one
And-
camera died, and we just could not
Yeah.
get anything done.
So I remember, yeah. So after we shot outside, we did lunch, as I recall,
Mm-hmm.
and then we learned
Least
the
I've ever
news that Chadwick Boseman had passed away in the middle of
Yeah.
shooting,
That was me. Yeah, I found that
Yeah.
out.
and that was just like strange. I was genuinely like, that was just a very sour note that we were on. Like
It was.
we were shooting this, and then we learned this news, and we were just sort of in stunned silence, I guess, of the whole of like learning that.
Mm.
And I just remember we were just sort of very quiet then, and we just sort of we didn't really talk that.
We resumed pretty quickly after
Yeah.
that, to be honest.
Yeah.
I would-
But I think it was more just out of necessity that we had to do it.
Yeah.
Like it was more, it was, and so then we shot. Yeah.
God, that feels like so long ago as well.
Mm.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
just like yeah. And I sort of was this sort of had that sort of thought in my mind throughout the rest of the day that like just sort of in the back of my mind. I didn't think about it often, but it just sort of every now and again I'd just be like, oh
Yeah,
yeah.
that really hit me. I was quite shocked.
Yeah.
The entire thing.
And everyone was shocked. We were all just like kind of yeah.
Oh shit.
And then we did lunch and then we just continued on.
Okay.
Uh,
If we could do the shoot again, what's something that we would do differently?
Make sure the equipment, like check all the equipment beforehand. Like that's like the
Yeah,
main
if
thing.
you're,
That's like the
yeah.
main problem we had. Was
Yeah.
that
If you want to talk about like doing it all over again, I'd say we do it, but like with like all the resources necessary to turn it.
I
into, like,
would-
a full
Yeah.
mission.
Yeah, I would say different set. Really.
I'd say
Mm.
like
Really-
better office set, bigger runtime, more
Yeah.
ideas.
that's
Not like bloat it or anything, but just like give it like the extra
More
kind
life.
of bits.
More
that it
meat.
needs. Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. Because that's what it really
'Cause it was
boiled
the bare
down
minimum,
to.
really.
Where it was very bare minimum. That's what kind
When
of
there
like
was so
Yeah.
much more stuff we could have added.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think with
we had
the
ideas flying, and then we were just like, but like we can only really do it here, and we only really
Yeah.
have this much time.
Yeah.
yeah, because I think because it's just sort of thinking about the other short films in like the high school classes. There's all sort of went that like they sort of went as long as they probably could. Like like I don't know if you could have extended them, but I don't know if you would need to, because it would have felt like sort of dragging it on. But I think Sticky Keys
Yeah.
as a concept, there's so much more we could have done with that, and so
I
many
feel
more.
like Unveiled definitely couldn't have been stretched out.
No,
The
like
the weird Russian one. I don't know. I feel like
Was it a Russian one?
That I feel like they were just trying to like be like, oh yeah, let's do this gangster thing. It'll be like really
Oh
cool.
yeah,
But
that one.
with like the circumstances that we had, I think that was probably a poor decision, and
Yeah.
it would have been better to choose like
It had
a more
good
chill topic.
elements. It had good
Yeah,
elements.
it has
but
really good
overall
elements,
The entire
but
thing was a bit
the thing
poor.
that really killed it the most for me was when an Australian guy did a Russian, like started talking Russian, then went straight back to speaking like an Australian.
yeah, it's like just
There were a
either
couple cool
commit
bits,
to
but-
it or just don't do it at all. Like I think that it's just kind of a thing that like that's a very film student type thing, I guess, to just have someone speaking in a foreign language because you can, because you think it's like you're
I
clever
feel like
if you
the
do that.
creepy, I can't remember the names of them now, but I feel like that Scripture. I feel like that one definitely could have had a whole lot more meat to it. Like there could have
yeah.
been like a
Yes.
backstory and all of that. Like that one was
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
the one
that one
kinda-
definitely. I think you probably could have done some more with that. But I also
Yeah.
think that one worked because of, like I sort of feel if you add too much to that, you could sort of it wouldn't be as good if there's more explanation of what that thing is. I think you could,
Yeah,
but I think you definitely
Like, the
could have done
whole
a little
horror
more with it.
comes from like the mystery, right?
Yeah.
But like I think Scripture, if you would take like that same short film, but like didn't have as good as costume design,
Hmm.
I think it would have been like terrible. Like I think costume and set design really made that film like because there was no real, honestly, there was no real characters, like there's no real plot. There's a
They didn't really
bit.
focus on any characters or.
It was
Yeah,
more
it was-
just the
It was
suspense
It was meant to be like
of
eerie, right?
the-
It was meant to be scary. But if you can't like do that, then don't do that, because
Yeah.
They did.
obviously
The suspense worked.
did
It
it?
didn't. I mean,
It might just be me, but I got really mad at the when they were actually making the thing because they were like, oh, blood. Put this piece of tissue with blood on it.
Yeah.
And get some water, some leaves. Like, what the fuck are they doing?
you thought it was like some like anti-vaxxer potion or something.
I was hoping it'd make it like more realistic, but it was just leaves and
Well,
shit.
that's what people used to do back in like American colonization times. Like, oh, let's ward off the. Have you guys I remember we did an English unit on it. What's it called? Oh,
Oh, the witches.
Crucible.
Yeah.
Oh
That's what it
yeah, I
was.
did that last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what people used to do. People used to like the essential oils of today is what actual medicine used to be. Like that's what people. So like that didn't really get to me. Like the presentation was fine.
Hmm.
But
I
do
just
get
didn't
what you're
really
saying.
feel the suspense or like the horror that I think
Hmm.
was intended. And I feel like there was nothing like personal about it, It was just like, oh
Felt
yeah,
like it was
look,
pretty
there's
cardboard.
yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice looking, but very little substance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like that was,
exactly.
like- that was a lot of them though.
Hmm.
Like that's kind of like that's what a lot of short films are realistically. Just very nice looking cardboard. You can't really fit in a whole lot of meaning, but everyone's just like, oh, look at the sunset shots though. Aren't
Yeah.
they lovely?
Yeah.
I think a lot of like young filmmakers when they start out, that's what they want to get. They want to get those cool shots. They want to get the pretty colors. They want to do like the foreign languages, whatever, But really, you should be focusing on more of like the key elements, like the character development and the actual plot,
Hmm.
and morals
Telling a
and stuff like
meaningful story.
that.
Yeah. I think that's
It's a balance.
yeah.
Yeah.
You wanna tell the really nice story, but you also want to like make it look nice. And
Yeah.
most people can't find that balance. That's the difference between a good filmmaker and a not good filmmaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like Sticky Keys had more of like more of the good like thematic elements, but it was lacking in aesthetic.
Hmm.
Whereas like Scripture had great aesthetics but very
Had,
little
like, the-
substance.
The polar opposites.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. I'm trying to think like what to talk about like with
I feel
the
like after the shoot, it's probably editing.
yeah. Well, actually, before that, in
editing.
between our shoot and one final thing about the shoot was we were shooting outside on the road, and cars kept coming, which just because we were trying to get
Yeah.
these shots, and cars kept coming, to a point that we were just like, let's just put some cones up there, and just like just do it.
Did you
But
actually do that?
no, I don't think we did. I think we were able to get a
We
few
came close
shots.
to it.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
definitely were like, oh, we should do this, but we were able to we got a couple shots
I
of
think that's legal.
yeah.
Gabe, like, there was like a chase scene where Gabe was like doing like a somersault.
From out behind
just
a pair of
That's
bins.
just some person's house as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right
People
next
hiding
door.
behind
He's just
bins.
hiding
That
right
person
next to
could have
someone's
been
house.
Just like sitting at their window watching Gabe just barrel roll out from behind their bins and start chasing a guy with a camera. Like,
And I also remember that there was another one where he went to do, I think it was a cartwheel, but Matt missed it. Like he was trying to do it so Matt
Yeah.
would catch him. But you can see in the shot, he goes for it and he goes off camera before you can see it. Like he starts turning and he disappears out of frame.
does
As
absolutely nothing for like 30 weeks and starts whipping out somersaults when we start filming.
yeah.
It makes sense.
And then we shot all the indoor stuff with Amy and Dale. Then we shot a few outdoor stuff, and we did like a few more shots inside of just like Dale like running in and like the door closing behind him and everything.
That was the last one we did. I'm
Yeah,
pretty
that was
sure.
the last shot we did, and then we were done for the
Probably
day.
that was probably the best like shot, I think. Like not shot specifically, but that was like the best scene where he like came in the door and then like was his like emotional break.
Yeah,
That's probably
because I think that because there's not a lot of dialogue in the film from Dale at least. Like he has, I almost think that he has like
Here's
one
one
line of dialogue, and he's the main character. So I remember
Yeah.
because the actor had to sort of
His
channel more.
entire dialogue is an exasperated "Hi, Amy," and there's that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
It's much more about facial expression.
yeah, which I think he
I
definitely
think
went
he did
for,
well.
and
He cried a couple times.
yeah, he did. He
I feel
had
like he
had
definitely
like real
like,
tears.
a better developed Dave is like it's kind of like a Brad Scheimat fusion, where it's just like they're very quiet and they're a little off.
Yeah,
Like that's
Mhm.
just like that's the character. But,
Yeah,
you
like you
could
can
really
tell
not-
there's stuff going
didn't
on
really have
inside
the
their head.
runtime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really would have liked to focus on that more. Also, I would have really liked to do like a bigger chase scene and really highlighted that and made that really intense, like full on action movie,
mm.
you know? And then so when he finally gets inside, it would have been like dead quiet after like
Yeah,
But to
huge
tear
crowd.
up
a
bunch of
juxtaposition
cliches.
to the
Yeah, just like bigger scale in general would have been
Yeah.
cool. Maybe one day, maybe like 10 years from now, remake Sticky Keys,
get the actors back.
the original crew.
Kill the
Yeah.
gang. Get the gang back together.
Yeah,
Make
Uh,
a
yeah.
masterpiece.
We're like Suicide Squad. Like
so we finished.
Yeah, we make the critics.
So we did that, and then after we packed up the sets, we put everything away, and then we transferred the footage between everyone,
mhm.
which took a while. And
Setup
Took
was, I mean,
forever.
like pack down. That was pretty quick. We
Yeah.
did that really quick. It was just the data transferring that took a while.
yeah, to the point that you hadn't done it. I think
Yeah,
had Maya also not done it. It was a couple people who hadn't transferred the footage over.
yeah.
So that
Got
was
mine done with the explicit purpose of having a head start and didn't do a single second of work on it until the first lesson.
yeah.
Me
No,
too.
I did and so I remember. So we did that, and then we had like 3 weeks off or something where we didn't have to go to class.
Mhm.
But in between our shoot and the first day back of class, I went and worked on the other groups as just like an extra for a
Me
few
too,
hours.
yeah.
So I guess we could briefly talk about that and our experience on that shoot.
Didn't you soul the main character as the extra kitty? Wasn't that your entire
Yeah.
thing?
That was Kitty was given a singular line of dialogue.
But I wasn't in the credits. I'm not salty. That's fine.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, that's you. Yeah. So
They didn't credit me.
Yeah,
But
so-
it's no big deal.
yeah. So we got there, and I remember getting there because I was only going to be there for half the day or whatever as an extra,
Mm-hmm.
and I arrived there, and Hayden is like, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, "I'm just an extra for the day," and he's like, "All right," and then so they'd built like a whole classroom set because so I guess to explain what theirs was, it was like a classroom. So it's like so this girl, she's got like a presentation to do, and then she sort of
She took too much acid, right? So she starts seeing.
Somebody dosed her with
Yeah.
PCP.
So-
Somebody-
a lot of and so then she goes up and does the presentation because her friend gives her like a necklace or something, or like a bracelet. She gives her something, and then she starts reading a poem that Brad did Brad write that, or
Yeah, he wrote. It was
Yeah.
one of Brad's poems.
Yeah,
Wait, he did?
yeah, he did.
Yeah.
The poem you hear is
That makes way too much sense now
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it.
So yeah, I got there just to see what they had done, and they had built a whole classroom set. There were posters, which kept falling down because they had just blue tacked.
Poem is
They just
juxtaposed with
blue tacked it to the
beautiful
wall.
Credits graphics.
Brad did quite well though on.
Oh, yeah, he had a-
design.
Yeah, he did
Their
a.
set, honestly, their set looked better than ours.
Yeah, like they
Oh,
went-
yeah.
Brad went like crazy. Like he bought like school posters. and
Yeah,
stuff.
there was, like, white
stops
whiteboards.
in Office Works and
There
just
were,
went
like-
to town.
Yeah.
Yeah, like each desk had like a book, a pencil case, and like a pen on it or whatever.
Mhm.
There was like teacher's desk with like I think an apple on it, or was that is
Yeah.
there? Yeah,
There was heaps of stuff on the
yeah.
teacher's desk.
So we
Hot
shot.
pens.
So they just did all the classroom stuff. I'm just trying to think if anything
That's
interesting
gone.
happened. Like, just things kept
I
falling
kinda,
off
like,
the walls.
Took over a bit. Like.
Oh,
by
you
accident.
definitely
I
took it.
couldn't
You
help-
went into director mode. Like,
Yeah.
you really were just telling them, hey, what if you do this? What if, hey.
Well, it's just Lachlan's kind of quiet sometimes, so it's hard not to.
Kinda.
You know.
I
Yeah.
don't think I heard him speak one legible sentence. It was like Gab. Like I genuinely don't think I heard him speak one like full legible sentence the entire time.
Yeah, he's like
Yeah.
he's pretty
So,
quiet. So, like I couldn't control myself, you know.
yeah.
When actors need to be directed.
Yeah.
You know, and he's just like, yeah, okay, next shot. I'm like, dude, no, you gotta.
Oh,
you gotta
yeah,
get-
no. So I think we definitely made sure we got a lot of coverage. Like,
Yeah.
every shot we did like 3 takes or more. There was one, I forget which shot it was, but we went to like 11, 12 takes or something because I forget,
Yeah.
because it was,
That was
And they didn't run over time at all.
no, our group went,
Yeah.
there was-
Uh,
I forgot what it was.
That was
It was
the
like,
one where Amy's fingers get stuck. That
Yeah.
took like 12 shots.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or
that one
takes.
was so painful
Yeah.
because no shade, but she had no clue what we wanted.
Yeah, she didn't get it.
She was
Yeah.
she did not get it at all.
yeah,
And even with the last take, it was really just like a give up take where it was
Yeah.
like it'll
Mhm.
work.
yeah. I think that was the
Yeah,
one
we
that
can slap it.
gave us the,
We'll fix
that,
it in post.
yeah,
Yeah, pretty much.
yeah.
I have like so many keyboards around my room now, just from like like props, like trying to like figure it out. Like I have like random keys in like corners of my room. I have 3 keyboards all right now.
yeah.
I can give you a 4th. I have an old keyboard now because I got a new one.
I'll take it. I'll start a collection.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna be. I didn't really talk to the actors because I just. Well, too fair, I honestly didn't really need to talk to the actors because that wasn't my job. I didn't need to be in both films. To be honest, I didn't really talk to them that much. More because it just wasn't necessary. I just it's not my job to get involved with them.
Mm.
And I remember, Kitty, you like arrived there and you're all ready to go, and you're immediately talking to like the 2 actors,
Yeah.
on this.
Yeah, they were
Um,
nice.
They
Oh,
were.
nice.
They were really nice people. They were really nice as
Yeah.
well. So yeah, we were just all chilling, and then and Brad started writing on there's a world map, and Brad was just writing on it. He was just like just writing. I forgot what he was writing, but he was just writing a bunch of things on the map of like what those places like used to be called, or like
Like
just, like-
culturally insensitive things.
yeah. He really went all out, and that was like what was used. I didn't like change or anything. Like if you watch the short film, you can notice that if you like zoom in, you can see like all the things Brad wrote. And
Not
so
as good as our. Surely we had better Easter eggs than ours.
I think so.
yeah. So yeah, they just went on shooting, and they really did only do each shot like twice. And
Yeah.
like Graham was like, "Are you sure you want to do each shot twice?" Because I remember they were shooting, they did like 2 shots. They set up the next shot, and Graham was like, "I think you should probably get a couple more takes of that." And so they had to reset everything up because they just weren't really thinking like, "Oh, if we only have to do 2 takes of everything, that's very limited." Like with what we can do, there's like
Yeah.
only so much we can do, and so, and yeah, so we were just it was pretty chill because we were just sitting down in a chair for pretty much the
Mhm.
whole day, and then you left before like all that stuff was done. Like you left
Yeah, I had places
Wait
to be.
too early, and
Yeah.
so you just
Lachlan
leave.
messaged me. He's like, everything went so much smoother after I left. I'm like, oh.
So yeah, you left, and I was like, I didn't want to leave. I was just like, I'll just wait for them to tell me to leave. And they're like, hey, where's Kitty? And I'm like, oh, she's gone. And they're like, oh great. So they had to like reframe shots so that it wasn't shown that your chair was empty. And so they had to they set up like a
Look,
Please.
Literally
I
told me
got
to
things
leave.
Did he? Because I distinctly remember, I forget who it was, but they were like, why did she leave? We still had more shots. Because I was still there, and they still needed me to stay there. Yeah, and so then they used the, what's it called? I forgot what it's called. Like the thing you put like the tripod on, and you move it back up, like the
dolly.
dolly. Yeah, because we didn't use that. Because we didn't need that. Like, I don't think even if we wanted to, it wouldn't have worked anywhere.
No.
And so they used the dolly. So what they did was they just sort of pushed every desk over and just like slotted the dolly in the middle and just had to frame it in a way that, Kitty's empty seat wouldn't be seen. Because you sat right at the front too. It's not even like you sat at the back. It was directly in like the front.
Well, I blame Lachlan for that because I asked him if I could leave, and he said yes, please do. So it's my fault.
Are you sure he wasn't being sarcastic?
Directing abilities. Yeah.
Okay.
Or, I'm pretty sure.
Right. And so yeah, they did all that classroom stuff, and then they had an ordered lunch. People just went off and got food.
Yeah,
And
which I
then-
think is like they should have provided food, right?
And I remember because I walked with Lachlan and Rowan, and Lachlan stopped off at a sushi place, and Rowan and I went to, I think it was Hungry Jack's, and we just picked up food and then walked back, and we just like, yeah, and then after that they're like, okay, cool, you can leave now, because I don't think Brad ate anything, like because everyone else was out
Brad's
getting lunch,
machine.
and he was taking down the set and setting up the new set, which was just a garbage bin with bunch of paper in it. Like that's like he took everything down and then set it all up, and then they were all like, yeah, you're cool to leave now, and then I did, and then we went back to class on Wednesday, and which went fine except for them not knowing where their SD card was, thinking they had lost it. Which is just like,
Funny, to be fair, they just got there on like the first class back, just like, wait, who has the SD card?
And I
all
remember because I think Rowan was there first, and I think Brad was next, and then I think Hayden came in, and they're like, "Hey, Hayden, do you know who has the SD card?" And I think he said something like, "Don't you have it?" or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Something very Hayden-y.
yeah, and then after that, we only did 4 more weeks of lessons, which was just editing, and
Which went great, didn't it?
oh god, there's so much to talk about this. So the computers, because we use the school's computers that they had
Max.
provided for us,
Oh
and
yeah, it's Max, my favorite.
oh god, throughout the entire year, Rowan and Jack had just been complaining that they were terrible, and that you hated the mouse because of like the scroller, which to be fair was just ridiculous.
I just dislike Macs in general. They're just not
Yeah.
good computers. Everyone's like,
Yeah.
oh, but you like, they're better for video editing and they're better for music software. It's just like they're not really.
Yeah.
I disagree with that. I think PCs are better.
Yeah.
No, Macs are just not as good as PC.
Yeah.
They're just overpriced
Um,
shit boxes.
So yeah, I don't think anybody had done any edit. I know I hadn't done any editing work beforehand, and I don't know if any of you guys had.
I'd messed around
No.
with it, but
Yeah,
nothing.
I didn't even get the
nothing
footage till the
crazy.
first day, so
that is true. Yeah, you couldn't actually work on it
I
really.
mean, wasn't your edit like the most questionable one?
let's
Kitty?
not talk about
Is I feel
sound
like I have to
synced
say
wrong
this
at
because
one
it was really funny.
that.
So
Yeah, go ahead.
everybody was playing their edits, and I'm finishing up some work so that I never have to like go back and do like extra stuff.
Like recent. Yeah, I have to go back and do stuff.
And they were playing yours because everybody had pressed you into showing it.
Yeah.
and Will comes in, and I'm like, oh, how did Katie's go? He's like, that was the worst fucking thing I've ever seen. I'm just there, just like, whoa, like, there was no chill. It sounds like I would say. It was so unexpected. And then other people came in and was like, no, it was pretty bad. I'm like, oh, okay, this wasn't just like a personal attack. Like, it was
Okay, look.
I thought he'd just gone for the jugular. Like, I
The
thought
one
he
that they
just...
showed, that was like my first draft. That wasn't the one that I like had it. They like lost it, and I only had my draft. Like the sound wasn't synced properly.
Oh,
I was like in the middle of cutting together 2 scenes and all these transitions, like all over the place. Yeah, it was shocking.
look, I can sum up the editing phase pretty well. Is nobody really knew what they were doing. Everybody got finished solidly, and there were some solid memes, especially Hayden's credits.
Yeah,
Which
Tom's edit was really good.
That
His
was
like,
hilarious.
great.
Yeah. Hayden.
Oh.
So
Oh.
Hayden worked on Unveiled, which is a pretty serious.
It's a
one
very
about,
serious,
Like,
like
a
it's
serious one about
like Sticky Keys.
Anxiety.
confidence and
Yeah.
anxiety and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And Brad writes this beautiful poem for the end of the for the end of the film, and Hayden decides to cut it together with some fucking Avengers style credits. Some like
Very
superhero movie. It was so hard to keep it together when that played. It came out, I'm just sat there just like, there's no shot.
No, and didn't he? He also did like a crazy ass eye transition as well at some point.
No,
Like-
no, he didn't end up including that, but he
No,
did
but
make
he was working on it, and I remember he was asking us questions about basic things, and we were all just like, you did eye transitions, and you're asking us like how to do like this thing that's like so simple. Like it was just weird.
He was probably like the best at editing,
Yeah.
and it was wasted potential. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
He just fucked
I would
around
like
with
to see him
stupid shit.
edit Sticky Keys.
Oh, he would.
Oh,
Oh my god.
Look, I'm gonna be honest. Half of like the comedic value that I got from Sticky Keys was just how like just like off. It felt half the
Yeah,
time. Like a lot of the
that
time,
was
it
what I was
just
going
it
for.
just felt like something was wrong. So I feel like
Yeah.
him editing it would have just dialed that to just 11 and a
Yeah.
half. Like
I
it would have just
yeah,
been so.
Matt's edit of Sticky Keys, that was great.
yeah,
Really
because
enjoyed that.
because it's like sort of a because I think so, if I remember correctly, it's kind of a little bit serious at the beginning,
Mhm.
and then it just becomes a full-on comedy with like Randy Newman style music. Like it's just the most.
Not gonna lie, I think it was Randy Newman.
No, because I was listening to it, I'm like, this is Randy Newman's music. Like it just sounded like a thing he would make, and it because I was like, oh, I feel like I've heard this before, and it was just because yours was like a full-on like dark comedy, and then Tom's was a much more serious like character study esque type thing.
Yeah,
Um.
but that was kind of the point. Like, it was meant to be, like, it was the tone was meant to be serious, but the actual subject matter is like humorous. So it's
Yeah.
like,
I think
Yeah.
Sticky Keys as a film was the one you could do the most with, in terms
Yeah.
of how you could
Like-
edit it and make it.
Kind of got like British Office energy.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was an inspiration
Yeah.
for sure.
Because if you look, because just thinking about the other short films, like you couldn't do those as like a comedy because they don't work. Like it's just but with ours you could definitely do that, just because it's a ridiculous concept with and like,
Yeah.
but you can also make it two very different things, and I think
Goes
that
both ways. Yeah.
yeah, and so we watched a couple versions of each film. I think we watched 2 versions of each.
Mhm.
I think there's one we watched 3 versions of. I don't remember which one it was.
That was mine.
Oh,
That
We
was
watched Matt's and Tom's, and then mine.
oh.
Yeah.
I also remember after each film was shown, there was like Hayden Graham and someone else. I think was it Jeff or someone.
Yeah, I think it was good.
They were sort of giving
We
their
watched it.
own notes and like sort of thoughts on how to improve it later, as well as sort of stuff from the shoot as well that could have been improved. And so we did that. Is there anything we want to talk about, like the screen, like just watching those sort of group of films? Like, I do remember actually, there was one bit where, because I would catch the train home with Jack and Maya because we were going like the same way, and we were talking about how the editing was going, and Maya was just like saying that Kitty had done like nothing on the thing, and
Which was true, wasn't
I-
Yeah. I did like nothing the first 2 weeks, and then I spent like 3 days straight on it.
I remember
did
I
that.
took a day off school. I went in because we had our classes on Wednesday, so I went in the day before on Tuesday, and I took a day off school to just do editing work then. And I spent
I probably should have done that.
I spent like 2 and a bit hours or so working on editing for the draft.
Did I have... I can't remember. I feel like I had exams around the time we were editing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we did. We were November or so, maybe, or like October,
Like,
November
like
ish.
that. I can't honestly look that entire like end of school. Just like there is no timeline in my brain. It's just like a blur of just getting it all done.
Yeah. And Matt, if I recall, you had some difficulties. Like, didn't you have like a full edit done? And it
Oh,
just
not
Yeah.
a full one, but it was.
like you lost it.
uh,
Like you had a pretty decent edit going, and then
Yeah.
you just lost the whole thing. I forgot
Yeah.
what you said happened again. I actually don't remember what happened.
Didn't a hard drive?
I don't
die?
even know what happened, to be honest with you.
I thought your hard drive corrupted.
It's something like that.
I think it was also around the time of editing, or like just before, where you smuggled your friend in, because I remember this because you forgot we had class that day, and so you very
Oh,
quickly
yeah.
had to just run to class with your friend, and you just hit him in the back of the
What are you
class.
supposed to be doing with him? Because I feel like
That silence.
That day without there being some
Yeah.
sort of.
That silence is telling.
Oh well.
and we spent a good I forgot how long we spent. We spent a good portion of that lesson of just like Graham just asking who that is, and then just sort of continuing on, and then coming back
Yeah.
to, and then he had to
when
leave.
Lisa came down, I was
Yeah.
like, oh no.
Oh, this is not gonna go well.
So that happened. It was just like, oh dear.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
And it
did
is
not go particularly well.
yeah. So I think that was it for all the class stuff we did. I think like the only real thing we need to talk about is the graduation that we attended at the end of
Oh,
Can we
last
talk
year.
about those awards? Because
Oh,
bullshit.
okay. So okay. So
Explain.
so I'm trying to remember what the awards. So there was best film, right?
I said I can't remember many of them.
Yeah.
All I can
Best
remember is that I felt like
screenplay
Rowan got
was
shunned
one.
for one of them.
Yeah,
Oh,
there was a
yeah,
best
Rowan got
screenplay, which we were nominated for.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, Rowan got
Wait,
there
we
was one.
were?
I think it was like best edit. What? No, there was one that I was like, oh, Rowan.
I think it was best edit or something,
Yeah.
and we thought that Rowan got shunned for it.
Yeah. And
Yeah, so Sticky Keys got nominated for best direction and best screenplay, but won neither,
also
which is unfortunate.
I was also
Which
no.
is unsurprising.
Yeah.
Honestly. Look, I went in there pessimistic, and seeing like our film pop up for anything was just like, wait, really?
Yeah. But to be fair, I also think it was a bit unfair because our short films were going up against like other like
The diploma
films with
ones.
like
The
that had
diploma one.
much bigger budgets and much like
Yeah.
like there was like a police film that they did like a police
I
short.
kind of hated that. I thought they
Yeah.
kind of pretty much like the one with
I
like
think it was acted good though.
Yeah.
yeah,
It was
I
like
agree with that. You know the one where there was like a dungeon in the guy's house?
Yeah.
That was so bad. That was terrible. Like it could have gone in such a different direction. And it could
Wait,
have
which
been
one
made
was
about like PTSD, which I thought
Like
it was
the
about.
police one.
And then no, not the police one, the one where there was like a dungeon. And then it turned out it was like, oh no, there's just like a monster or something. It's like what? Stupid.
Wait, which one was that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Was that
one?
was that the one where the guy was
Oh.
like going around his house like he was doing like pills or whatever? There was
Yeah.
yeah.
It could have been so much better. And also the cop one. It's like what? The only one I really liked from like the older
The wire
students.
one.
was the COVID one where I think it was just called
Yeah.
like The Room or something. where
Oh,
it
that
turned
was
out they
actually
were all
very good.
Test subjects.
The
That was
one
amazing.
The one that I found the most unintentionally funny was definitely the tent one. Like, one,
Oh,
the
yeah.
guy that they got to play like the circus conductor was
Oh yeah.
just so funny. Because he just acted like a meth head in the valley. Just like, I can tell you your future, and then like, like the dynamic between the couple just reminded me of like There's No Home and Away.
Oh,
A really
yeah.
bad sitcom, rom-com, kind of soap opera acting, and then just the ending is literally just a guy getting fucking hit by a car, and then it just ends.
And two of the actors looked really similar. So I was like, wait, is this guy time traveling? What's
Just
going on?
Something about it was just so funny to me.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
the entire plot is meth head Lewis couple into a tent. Crackhead runs in there, runs away. Couple has a fight. Guy storms off and drives away, speeds away, and hits Crackhead with a car. That's the entire plot. Like,
Oh my god.
it took me a second. I'm just sat there, just like, wait, really?
I think they should have sort of split it a little more evenly to have like the high school program films sort of like
Yeah.
Yeah, on a different level to the diploma.
yeah,
ones.
like best like high school program film or whatever. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's a lot more fair because it just sort of felt like they were just it's not like it's very
Really
different.
care that much. I think it kind of made sense in a way.
Yeah.
I feel like they should have had like better categories as well. They should have had like a most original idea or like they should have done like each kind of job even like best production design you know, because that
Go
would
full on Oscars for it. Just have every Oscars
Yes.
category.
Yeah.
Bro, I don't have the patience to sit through that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
It was
no.
so long. There were so many unnecessary like speeches and stuff like that. And it's like,
And then you had all the drunk wine mums go up and get their award.
yeah,
Oh my god, they were they were annoying. I was genuinely like, oh my god, just stop.
I was like sitting right behind them, and they were all like going, "Oh my god!" And she's like, "Oh, contain yourselves."
And Matt,
It's a
you came
professional
late, I believe. We had started, and Matt just like,
I came very late.
just like,
Yes.
It's very awkward.
yeah, because we're all sat down ready to go, and then Matt just like shuffles in.
The thing started so late though. Like
Yeah.
we were out like waiting in the hall. For
I was
15
like,
minutes.
I was checking the time. I was like, man, we should have started by now. We would
Yeah.
be through several films by now. And then they like just, yeah, yeah. So so yeah, we were there. We got certificates, which was
Mhm.
nice.
It's covered under a pile of everything else.
Because we were all split, and I was sat with like no one that I knew because they had each like assigned seats for us,
Yeah,
Which
that was
was-
weird.
which I was just like,
This
why?
guy was a bit of a miracle because I had somebody who I could just like talk to that I actually like knew.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would have been so screwed.
I was sat next to the kid called Jake who directed the Russian one,
Mm,
which was interesting.
mm.
Is he like the kind of? No, he's not. Cause you know the one that versed Brad in chess that one time?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Like, that I can't remember the name of.
Oh, I
He-
know his name.
He came up to me in the line when I just got there. Was like, "Hey, how you going?" I'm just like sat there, like kind of just like making small talk, just like, "Who is this kid?
Yeah.
Why does he know me?" I was so confused, and I'm just like, and my parents turned to me, was like, "Who was that?" I was like, I have no clue. That's a great question.
Yeah.
And then I found Rowan dressed in his very his quality attire.
Just
So
shorts
you're
and a
never,
t.
he's never gonna have to worry about overdressing. God.
Yeah, because we're all sort of in like nice-ish clothes, and then there's Rowan in just
Star Wars t-shirt.
I
Khaki
knew one of the
shorts.
boys was going to wear a
Oh
Star
yeah,
Wars t-shirt.
absolutely.
Me
Oh,
and
yeah,
Maya
no.
had a bet.
yeah.
I don't get how people can be that like unconscious towards like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Like, there was one film they showed which was like a sci-fi thing with just like,
Oh, that was weird as shit.
The green screen one that looked like an old YouTube video.
yeah, that one. It was.
God, that
I
one
was. I really didn't want to laugh, but like it just was.
I was sat there just like. That was Cyberpunk. That was Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
was
that
just
was.
like, what is this? This who approved this? This doesn't. Yeah.
Who approved this? What board meeting did this come out of?
Yeah. And so I was really hoping that they would show Hayden's edit for
Yes,
Unveiled
was
because I
praying
genuinely was
they
like,
should.
oh come on, they've got to do it because
I
genuinely,
was like, I was sat there just like, yes, they showed Rowan's, but deep down I'm just like, why isn't it Hayden's?
yeah,
It should be Hayden's.
yeah, and yeah, that was. I think that's it basically. That was a full year. That's not
Yeah.
everything. That's like the important stuff that like.
Pretty much.
Really flew by.
Yeah.
Most of the class was just memes, but
Yeah. Yeah, the class was
we
very
got
much
something.
like, it wasn't a boring class. Like, I wouldn't. Like, I don't think I would enjoy it if it was a different class, I guess. I think
Yeah.
who was in the class.
We had good people.
Because I just remember. Because we got there, because the other class finished like 30 minutes before ours started. And like, they were just making like, saying just like really old, like, outdated memes, and I was like, oh no, but, like, thank God I'm in this class, not that one.
Yeah.
That really showed our superiority.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we made new memes instead of having to rely on old ones.
Yeah, Brad and Brad.
Brad
And maybe Brad, and maybe some more Brad.
Brad
Just in
gave
case
us
you were wondering.
so much. There was
Some more, yeah.
Brad. I asked Brad if he wanted to do this, and he said he wasn't going to because he's doing the like continuation program this year, so he doesn't want to like.
Yeah, he doesn't want to shit talk the school in case it gets him in trouble.
Yeah, pretty much.
Loved the school. I don't think I had a single problem with the school the entire time. Like,
I
honestly.
was just more annoyed of like when we had to submit something, like, because we had to give them our like hard drive with the film on it, but then we also had to like submit them the film or whatever, and I didn't have.
It was finicky, but it wasn't like too bad.
Yeah. I also when it came to resubmitting stuff, I just sort of lost track of that, and there was
I
a
had
time.
no fucking clue what to do for that.
Oh, we get to the end, right, and Matt is having to resubmit stuff that we did like halfway through the year. Like, we remember when we did that,
The
like,
wedding video.
yeah, the wedding video. He submitted it, then he had to resubmit it, and for the resubmission, he lost one of his ticks. That like no, so he resubmitted it, and because like it was like a tick thing, you know, like these certain things, yeah, and he got a tick, and then he somehow lost it for his resubmission, and I had no idea what he did. And the editing, I just was not. Editing was the part that I just was not. Was the part I just did not care. Like the part I didn't like, I guess, was the editing
Yeah, me
because
too.
it was just sort of.
I would have had more fun with it if I had more material to work with. I didn't really care because it was pretty limited. If I had
Yeah.
like a
Mhm.
lot of stuff to just like fuck around with, it would have been
Yeah.
like
Hmm.
unfortunately restrictions and that.
Yeah. The editing was just the part that I always was sort of iffy with. Like, I did it, but it was just. I don't know if I would like to do it again because it's not the most enjoyable thing, I guess. I think it was also because of a time constraint and having to have. No, I had to have it done by this time. It was kind of just like stress added to it of I have to do this now, you know, or I don't get the points for this. So.
Yeah.
Kitty certainly wasn't worried about that. Oh god.
I don't really think there's anything else major to talk about unless you guys have any like final points that you want to make about our time there.
Not really.
I think we covered everything.
Because we covered everything. Because we've been going for over 2 hours at this point, so we've
Jeez.
covered a lot in this time. Matt, is there any final things that you want to say about your time at the school?
Matt's on mute.
Matt's muted.
Dead. Yo. No, I can't think of anything.
I just think that it was the courses were handled very well. They sort of knew what they were talking. Like, it wasn't, we weren't given unqualified teachers.
Mm.
Like, they knew what they were doing and everything. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else to say. Really, I think we've sort of covered most of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a closing statement.
All right.
The Star Wars prequels are irredeemably bad, and there's nothing you can do to change that. That is all.
Fantastic.
Yeah. That's how this
That's all that
entire
needs to be
thing
said.
started. An
That's how it's
argument
ending.
on the quality.
It's
Well,
come full circle.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. Think that's all. Think we can pretty much wrap up. So yeah, thanks for listening to this episode. This is a very long one, and
Yeah. Maybe you can label it as like a special episode since we didn't really talk about much
Yeah.
about movies.
yeah, it was just a year, more or less, of our lives, and how we sort of spent that year. Yeah. So yeah, thanks for listening. Do you guys have anything you want to plug? Like any, I don't know. People always plug things. I don't really know.
Follow my Instagram or something. Yep.
Yeah, you should do that.
What's your Instagram?
I don't know. Just link it. Find
Right.
a way to link it. I don't know,
Yeah,
you can do it.
sure. I'll link it. It's
Thumb
actually,
to Bread Action.
yeah. Oh, I'll have, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
subscribe to Brad Action on YouTube.
Yeah, Brad Action. I'll leave the link for
When I
that
make
as
a
well.
YouTube channel, I'll plug it. But
Yeah.
for the moment, there's nothing.
I guess follow me on Letterboxd if that's your thing.
Oh yeah, follow me
Fuck
on
is a
Letterboxd.
letterbox.
It's
Just end the episode.
okay.
Just kidding.
Good.
Link my
Goodbye.
Letterboxd.
Everyone say goodbye because we're done now.
So,
Uh,
Bye.
Bye.